baseball owners. I'm gonna have fun with them. So obviously I have to lead off with my disclaimer. I am obviously a Mets fan. I am enjoying, this is a good week. Christmas came early this week for sure. Steve Cohen, Uncle Steve, has shaken up the baseball world, and he has signed someone who was supposed to be signed already. That's actually the funniest part of this whole thing. I don't even know how you do this, but somehow somebody had Carlos Correa, super shortstop, all-star, etc., signed with the San Francisco Giants in name only. He was signed. Had signed a $13-year, $350 million. I got to hit that with a $350 million contract with the San Francisco Giants. At least as of last week, earlier this week, that was what was happening. They were going to have, I think it was Tuesday, they were supposed to have a press conference introducing him. Somewhere on Tuesday, they said something happened and they canceled the press conference. And by Wednesday morning, he was a New York Met. What actually happened behind the closed doors, no one will actually know. But as a Mets fan, I am loving it. Enjoyed it. He signed with the Mets for 12 years for $315 million. He will not be poor anytime soon. So that has kicked off this whole firestorm with the poor baseball owners who, oh my goodness, my heart just breaks for them. And their rich, pompous, ridiculously overbearing, have for years held it over everybody's head about how rich they are and how important they are, and have screwed up baseball more times than not, etc., etc. Those guys have gotten put in their place. Yeah, exactly. Real basic. They have now been made to feel small, and all of the things that they've aligned and done and colluded. Yes.
Colluded.
Yes. And they can claim what they want, but you know what you did. So all this stuff that they've done over the years, well, now there's an actual adult in the room, and his 17 and a half billion with a B net worth that is out there. And he's there now, and he's bringing everybody's standard of living up by being there and not going along with the little collusion that has been going on in baseball for years and years and keeping prices down. And while making more money the whole time, which is what all owners are doing, don't get it twisted in any other way. They're all making more money than they have been. TV rights, etc., etc. All that stuff's going up. Not every owner is on equal footing, but I believe the net worth of the richest owners was, outside of Steve Cohen, is somewhere around $4.5 billion, which is, I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at. I'm not making fun of anybody's money. They way more than I will probably ever see in my life, but that's where they are. Steve Cohen's 17 and a half. So he's making them, they did the whole whip it out, and he did, and his was bigger. So that's in short what the baseball owners. Oh my goodness, this is just so terrible for baseball. How will we all compete? People are just going to buy championships. It's the same type of thing that they used to complain about with Steinbrenner back in the day. He didn't buy championships either. He bought a lot of good players. They were relevant, but you can't buy World Series championships. Baseball, of all the sports, I will say baseball is a little unique in that way, because a lot of it is chancy. And when you have, when going up to the plate and doing something in a sport, 3 out of 10 times is a good all-star. In any other sport, if you do something 3 out of 10 times, you're probably out of the league. Shoot free throws 3 out of 10, that's below Shaq. If it's, in football, you're completing 3 out of 10 passes, you won't be quarterback long. That type of thing. So in baseball is kind of unique in that way. They also don't have a salary cap. The reason they haven't had a salary cap is player related, but it's player related because the owners have been so cheap over the years and colluded. And now they have someone in their ranks who is trying to push baseball up the charts. But the owners are just too old, too set in their ways. And you want to talk about old men, get off my lawn? They are the complete epitome of that. That is all they are. I'm so sick and tired of baseball owners. Go cry about it in your cereal, man. Go find, if it's too much money for you and you can't afford it, sell your team. Next. That's how business works. Sometimes you just get out of your league and you got to get out. Sell your team. There's plenty of rich people. Plenty of people trying to buy a team.
Let me ask you this. And I'm gonna ask you a question that I am tasked with answering on a yearly basis, right? 30 years from now, is the MLB a viable product?
Yes. And the reason I say that is going to be because, not in spite of, it's going to be because of owners like the Dodgers ownership and Steve Cohen.
30
That is the only reason.
Like, how old is Steve Cohen?
Oh, he won't still be there. But I mean, because of what is happening now, if they kept on the trend where they were heading, in 30 years, quite frankly, soccer would have probably passed them. Hockey, they're not even the hockey. Yeah. They're not. I mean, like for real, they're not.
Well, hockey's one of those. So as a professional, as a professional competitive analyst,
you see, the fact that you have to kind of go.
I wouldn't sleep on hockey about the strength position of hockey. I would be concerned of hockey based on the weakness position. That's kind of I'm looking at things from a diamond. So you have, okay, let's put baseball into the diamond. What's their highest point? That's the top of the diamond. And then let's look at their relative strength position versus relative threat position. That's the 2 points. So let's say the right side of the diamond is their relative strength, the left side of the diamond is their relative weakness, and then the bottom point of the diamond is the weakest position they could possibly present, right? So then you have to ask the question, because baseball has the advantage of install base. And what I mean by install base is they have the it's not stadiums. Like, what is it? It's the fields, whatever. They have the physical positions in place in very strategic cities, and then they have other places. But let's not argue ourselves. Nobody gives, like, it's great to have the fan base in Poughkeepsie, but nobody gives a shit about Poughkeepsie. Like it's you know.
Except for us who love our fans in Poughkeepsie. By the way, be sure to like, share, and subscribe.
Poughkeepsie, I love you. Good night, Poughkeepsie. I love you. I love you, Poughkeepsie. But I'm sorry, you're not. You're not. I know, and I'm sorry I say this, but you're not moving the fucking needle. And maybe it should be different, but it just fucking isn't.
It is what it is.
It just isn't. It's so when you're making decisions about team positions and different things, you're I've had too many fucking old fashions in me. I fucking lost my point.
I'm with you.
Ancillary to that, but my main point still stands. It's
you got to watch
like,
where hockey, we were talking about with the whole, 30 years from now, and hockey is, if baseball continued trending the way it is, this is what it kind of comes down to. Then in 30 years, without guys like Steve Cohen, without the Dodgers ownership and things like that, without the Yankees, without you still need those tried and true baseball people as well.
Right,
that's extremely important. And that is actually what Steve Cohen is. He just happens to be an extremely rich fan first. He is a fan. His team is
not
the Mets.
A player. He's not a player.
No,
he's not.
No, he was.
And
he was a fan of the team that now has a lot of money.
Why am I the one arguing? Like, yeah, it's.
My point is, it's gonna be that enthusiasm, that money. I mean, let's just call it like it is.
Okay, no,
that
fair
money,
enough.
that influx,
fair enough.
That pushes
it's
everyone.
That, yeah,
up.
yeah.
And baseball, because they were scared of Steve Cohen. So if they were really scared of him, they could have introduced and this will probably be a thing. Baseball will lock themselves out here soon because they just love shooting themselves in the foot with any forward momentum. It's what they do. They'll do it in a few years when they do the collective bargaining, and they're gonna end up being locked out because a whole bunch of old crotchety owners. They're gonna lock them out because they're gonna want a salary cap. Well, they tried to introduce a salary cap, sort of, but not really. It's a luxury tax, and so I think it's $295 million in a season. Yeah, that's the kind of luxury tax. Steve Cohen's salary, or not salary, but payroll this year will be around $400 million. And they put in a Steve Cohen tax, which is at $295. He's blown past that, obviously.
Okay,
he
so
is paying
let me
in luxury tax alone. He's paying $111 million and probably more by the end of it into the luxury tax. You know what that benefits? All those team in Pittsburgh doesn't make a lot of money. They're in Pittsburgh. They haven't been good in 1,000 years.
Right.
They they haven't been good since the Killer Bees were there, Barry Bonds and Bobby Bonilla. So that was the last time they were any good. And they ran they ran Barry Bonds out of town with a lot of shenanigans that went on back then.
Wait. Okay, so as someone who hasn't followed baseball for very long, as someone who got flooded with the Barry Bonds shit,
the home run chase, etc.
Yeah. And in the late 90s, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Project me from the reaction.
Okay.
And then we'll go to a break. My reaction is this. I remember watching the whole Barry Bonds chase with the home runs through the mid to late 90s. And
I think Bonds was after that. The 98 was Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa.
That's the other name I was looking for.
I was gonna say Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa was the summer of 98. So I want to say it was like 2004, and I am completely just winging it here. I can't remember.
And I'm trying to figure out the timing between like Sosa, McGuire, and Bonds.
So Sosa, here's when it is. I got the numbers now. So the summer of 98 was all about the home run ball. That clearly people were juicing a little bit here and there, or a whole lot. Both pitchers and hitters. Pitchers and hitters. That's what everybody forgets about that time period. Everyone's like, oh, the hitters, they were all juicing. Yeah, so were the pitchers. Roger Clemens.
Fuck yeah, they were.
Yeah, so you know what? It goes back to the phrase from you know where I'm going. If everybody's it was the superhero movie, the kids movie, The Incredibles. I love this line. If everybody has superpowers, then nobody does.
Everybody's stupid.
Yeah. Everybody's juicing, then nobody is, because you're all everybody. Okay, you're just as jacked up as everybody else. So that happened in 98. That was the whole McGuire and Sosa, and the world fell in love with baseball again, et cetera, et cetera. Bonds, you want to talk about a person that's probably not a good dude? Bonds, not good player, great player, not the guy that I want my kid to grow up and act like. So Bonds figured that out, didn't like the fact that here he is an all-star player, all around much better play. Like it was glove, it was home runs, it was average. It wasn't just one thing. He was a multi-talented generational player. That's what he was. And no one even knew it's not that they didn't know his name, but the national media and everything else, the drama was all about McGuire and Sosa. Sosa had the big smile. McGuire had the right attributes to garner attention, and so there it was. They liked each other, they were friendly, both friendly people, etc. Bonds figured that out and starts to bulk up. Bonds' head is not the same size as it was when he was it doesn't grow naturally, your head. Not once you're grown. So Bonds in 2001 is really where he completely shot up. Prior to the year 2000, Bonds, the most home runs Bonds had was 46 one year. But every other year was like 19, 35, 37. He was kind of a mid-30s home run hitter.
For my airing of grievances,
a slew of things lined up. For my airing of grievances.
Dependent on your religious leanings, let's call him JC because he came back from the dead. My boy Ian came back and get this shit going. Hey, let's recognize what that shit took.
It's always interesting when these things kick off in the middle of a stream. Anyone that does live streaming, how fickle is the word that we're looking for. You're always hanging on by there's this thin edge that you're always on and kind of leaning.
Hey, but it's the I'm back on.
I don't want to. We're gonna wrap up the baseball owners. That was the main thing. Suck it up, buttercups.
Suck it up, buttercups.
Yeah. And to keep it in the baseball world, the fact that we're talking about owners and ownership as the leading headlines, that's your issue right off the top. You're not the main characters. You're the owners.
No,
we should never talk about you.
Nobody should give a fuck. Nobody should know your name. Nobody should know if things are going good. Nobody would know your name.
Complain about the front office? Sure. Complain about the players? Absolutely. Management? Yes. Minor leagues? Sure. Should never talk about the owners. If the owners are the main focus, it's never in a good way.
No.
Except for Steve Cohen, who's amazing. Uncle Steve.